strong.
Go get 'em!
It just cleans better. With a diamond weave texture, your family can use less while still getting clean.
Goodbye, itchy squirm.
Hello, clean bottom.
We all go. Why not enjoy the go with Charmin?
One bite of 100% Angus beef ballpark frank, and you'll say, hello, summer. Oh yeah, it's ballpark season.
AD Drew and I are co-hosts of the BCSN Sports Wrap. We talk about all things related to HBCU athletics. From the games, teams, coaches, and fan interest stories, we cover it all. You can find our shows on Facebook at BCSN Sports Wrap, YouTube at MyJBN Online, and everywhere you listen to podcasts like Anchor, Spotify, Google, and Apple Podcasts. You can also find the show on the Jericho Broadcast Network's app. Make sure to download. We look forward to you joining the conversation and being a part of the show.
Sugar Chateau Desserts is a specialty bakery located in the Charlotte, North Carolina metro area. We will create delicious and one-of-a-kind treats for any occasion. Sugar Chateau is currently shipping cakes in a jar, offering a variety of different flavors in a single-serve container that can help you celebrate in accordance with social distancing. Place your orders today by calling 803-526-7895 or visiting sugarchateaudesserts.com.
Whether it's advice on managing your anxiety or tools to help you stay grounded, Coping-19 provides a range of resources and self-care tips to help you cope with this pandemic. We can help. Find the resources that work best for you at coping-19.org.
For my people that don't get to see me, trying to remind you who you are, just like in Romans 3. See, we about to blow across the world just like a day that's breezy. This motivation for the people and this classic Bible teaching say, make this for my people that don't get to see me, trying to remind you who you are, just like in Romans 3. See, we about to blow across the world just like a day that's breezy. This motivation for the people and this classic Bible teachings, hey, 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 motivation.
This is Carlos Brown, letting you know that we're on the move. You can now catch the Carlos Brown Show beginning this July on the Black College Sports Network each and every Saturday from 11 to 1 Eastern Time. That's 10 to 12 Central Time. Same time, new place. On Facebook at the Carlos Brown Show and Black College Sports Network. Online at www.mybcsn.net and on the BCSN app available on Google Play and the Apple App Store.
You see, Head & Shoulders has a scalp shield technology, protects against flakes even between washes. It's never not working.
Kind of like us. Number 15?
Never not working.
I don't like this one.
Me neither.
Let's get out of here.
Head & Shoulders scalp shield, never not working.
Spin class was brutal. Well, you can try using the Buick's massaging seat.
Ooh, yeah, that's nice. Can I use Apple CarPlay to put some music on?
Sure, it's wireless.
Pick something we all like. Okay, hold on. What's your Buick's Wi-Fi password?
Buick Envision 2021.
Oh, you should pick something stronger. That's really predictable.
That's a really tight spot. Don't worry, I used to hate parallel parking.
Me too.
Hey,
Really outdid yourself.
Yes, we did.
The all-new Buick Envision, an SUV built around you. All of you.
Let's face it, shopping for insurance can be time-consuming. That's why when it comes to your auto, home, and life insurance needs, make things simple and trust the experts at Allstate. They will help you get the coverage that fits your needs while helping you bundle your life, home, and auto policies. Bundling saves you money, sure, but it also saves you time, so you can enjoy the things that matter most even more. Contact me, Tammy Haynes, your local agent, for a free personalized insurance quote. Allstate, are you in good hands?
Let's get back to strolling instead of scrolling. Before we can safely come together, we need the facts on COVID-19 vaccines. Visit getvaccineanswers.org so you can make an informed decision for yourself and for your family.
This is the Dean of the College of HBCU Sports, Kenyatta Cavill of Dr. Cavill's Inside the HBCU Sports Lab with Mike Washington and Charles Bishop. Come mix it up in the lab where the course lecture is in session every Tuesday from 6 o'clock p.m. Central Standard Time on Facebook Live, YouTube Spreaker, or the BCSN app, as we discuss all things about the HBCU sports culture, including exploring the week that was in the sporting HBCU diaspora, as well as the upcoming week of HBCU sports. With me, the Dean, the College of HBCU Sports, on Dr. Cavill's Inside the HBCU Sports Lab with Mike Washington and Charles Bishop. Course lecture dismissed.
And welcome to another live edition of the ONG Strike Zone. I'm Brian Fulford, joined by my brothers from another mother, Kelvin Roser, Kofi Hemingway. How you two fellas doing?
Doing great, man. How are you?
I'm too blessed to be stressed. Finally got all my moving done. I'm still kind of getting used to all the new stuff, so I don't have any fancy backgrounds. Of course, my lighting isn't great, but I'll have it all figured out. You know, I can't be like some of y'all. Y'all got your fancy backgrounds, new microphones, and other stuff like that. How you doing, Kelvin?
As my boy Kobe say, "What up, boy? What up, boy?" You try to identify it on our show.
Well, you know, I can come up with something. I can do something different. How about that?
Hey, I'm glad to be back with y'all guys, man. Y'all held it down last week. You know, I was a little under the weather, but I'm better now. And man, there's a lot been going on this week. Yeah,
really?
This gonna be a great show.
Oh yes, boy. There's no look. That's the significance of the FAMU brand, boy. We stay in the news. I'm telling you, man. It don't matter for what, good, bad. Man, we stay in the news cycle. I tell you what, every week is something, man. That just speaks to the power of FAMU, Florida A&M University. So it's good to have you back, Kelvin. Good to see you as well, Kofi. We got, as my man said, we got a lot to talk about today. We are 24 days from the start of the football season, week 0. Football team heading off to Chapel Hill to take on North Carolina. The boys are 5 days into practices. Practices just started with pads the other day. So we'll talk a little bit about that. We'll get into talking about some positions. We said we're going to spotlight various position groups. Thanks to Marcus Green, who, by the way, Marcus Green did a great job last week in the role in the Kelvin chair. So shout out to Marcus Green. Sent us some good info on the O-line work. So we'll get into talking about that. Got some special guests coming up as we are getting ready to talk about volleyball season, and the champs are here. So it's the champs. That's
yes,
right.
Sir.
Coach Gokhan Yilmaz will be on coming up at the bottom of the hour as we get ready for the 2022 volleyball season, preparing to run it back in the SWAC. And as I said, some things we do want to repeat. And that is one of them. There's other things that we're going to talk about in a minute that we don't want to repeat. And so that's just how this is going to go today. So we also got some information. And we'll have a friend of the O&G coming on in hour number 2, talking with us as well. And appropriately, a friend of the O&G. I think that needs to be a new membership drive. We need to I say we, but we need to figure out a way to coin that. Become a friend of the O&G.
We just call them OGs. How about that?
Oh, look at you, Mr. Marketer. OGs. Okay, there you go. I like that. Those of you watching us on Facebook and YouTube or Twitter, wherever you're watching us, we appreciate you joining us. Hopefully you've already subscribed to us on our social media platforms at O&G Strike Zone on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. And hopefully you've downloaded that Jericho Broadcast Network's app, which you can find on the Google or Apple Play Store. Just search my JBN or my BCSN. And I know, shout out to Dr. Lori. She's in the chat room holding it down, shooting down the snipers. I'm sure there might be some snipers that jump in, especially with our opening topic, Dr. Lori. So be prepared if it gets foolish in there. You just fire away. So with that said, we have to talk about it because this is a athletics and culture show. And unfortunately, we just figure we just get the foolishness and the mess out the way early, and we maybe don't have to talk about it again. But yes, as many of you saw over the weekend, I put it like this: do you know a Rattler that has not seen the bootygate photo, as we'll call it, the bootygate scandal that has took place as the young Rattler, the graduate young lady by the name of Terica Williams. I don't know. I thought about not even mentioning her name, but it is what it is. But she chose to use her graduation photo and then set the internet ablaze, man, in ways that only maybe a Kim Kardashian has done before, or somebody of that ilk. And usually it involves some form of nudity, and so that's what she did. She, as I and many others observed, the snake probably had the best view of things, if you were into that. And for others, we caught the backside view. And I will just simply say, fellas, and then I'll toss it around the horn. As I spent, sadly, as it took me 20 minutes to find the photo, because I had to filter through all of the comments for about 20 minutes. It took me that long to find what everybody was talking about. And I was like, First thoughts that came to mind was, where did she get the snake locks, as I heard Scotty kind of refer to them as. But that freaked me out. No lie. As a person who does not like snakes, that freaked me out. I'm no lie. I didn't know if that was real snakes that she had somehow chopped up and had kind of had hanging from out of her head, or what. Because I saw Kelvin. Hold on, Kelvin had called it
real snake.
Kelvin said, "Look,
no black folks don't do that."
Look, when you said Medusa, I didn't understand what you were talking about at first. When I saw your tweet and you said, how did they let Medusa do all that? And I was like, what is he talking about? And so I'm looking at the photo and I said, oh my God. And then the second thought was, was Playboy behind this? Because they have been infamous for doing a whole college girls spread, in years past, where they would have young co-eds taking photos like that. So obviously that was not the case. But yeah, so that was just my initial thoughts. I'll turn it now over to Kelvin. Your initial thoughts as you were observing what happened.
I'm gonna do my disclaimer off the top. The pins that I'm finna share are my own, not that of the ONG Strike Zone or JBN. Okay,
There you go.
that out the way. That out the way. So I had a few thoughts. The first thought is any of us who was around with Freaknik, with Black's College Reunion Beach Weekend, with the toga parties back in the day.
Yep.
We can't be phony and fake like, this is something new. It's not. Luckily, the internet went around and social media went around back when all that was going on. So you have to hear the stories. You couldn't just put it out there. So it is what it is. In that terms, it's Florida. We tend to do some ratchet stuff in Florida. And so, I found it interesting that she waited till she got her master's from FAMU. She didn't put that, from FIU in her undergrad photos, graduation photos. And I also add that I see she wanted to be a rapper, and I listened to some of it. She needs to use her master's. She needs to use her master's, but that career ain't going nowhere.
That was hot garbage. Jesus, that. Ooh.
Yeah, it was tough. It was tough. Now, my daddy's side finna kick in. As a black father, 3 girls, as a matter of fact, you want the young ladies to be inspirational and to carry themselves as queens and represent, the best. Her degree and her booty, the two don't go together, right? One don't have nothing to do with the other. So I don't know what kind of point, I know what she put out there, but to me, it screamed of attention, and she got plenty of it. It was this, it was distasteful in the sense that, it was on the campus in front of one of our hallmarks, and had university name on it. So that was just distasteful. If she wanted to do that, and she was doing it at home or wherever else, that would have been that's her choice. I ain't, I'm not hating on that part of it. But the fact that she did it where she did it, and associated with the brand of Florida A&M. Number one, that's the issue. Number two, you mentioned the Kardashians and all these different social influence folks who go that route. There's nothing redeeming about that, right? Anybody who watched that picture, they're not talking about her masters and how intellect they is. They're saying she got a nice booty, how inappropriate that was. And right, so she deserved the heat she got. And as a black queen, I want her to carry herself as a black queen publicly. There's a time and place for everything. If she at strip club, that's one thing. But that, on FAMU campus, in front of the snake, that ain't the place for it. And so hopefully, but I have to say, I do like the response of the sign that was put up by the police department today. That was pretty good. That was pretty good.
Do we have?
Yeah.
There you go, right there.
Yeah,
Rattler watch.
I
yes.
like that. That was to me a balance. It wasn't an overreaction. They don't need to overreact, and hopefully her 5 minutes of fame gone.
Kofi, if you're still there, wanted to get your take on that. But what I'll do is I'll just kind of read for those. And again, most folks have probably already read this. This young woman, Terica Williams, of course, graduated with a master's in education. And apparently she did her undergrad at FIU. She posted this on Instagram with the caption that said, "Anybody who knows me knows that I've been dressing provocative my whole life. There's a lot of assumptions that have come with me accepting my body. A lot of people question my capabilities and intelligence solely based on how I choose to dress. As I'm standing here with my master's degree at the tender age of 24, I am the living proof that clothes do not define you. I encouraged everybody, I don't know if that was even spelled correctly or written correctly, to embrace their bodies and step outside social norms." You know, I get the whole women's empowerment, but then the whole, I don't know why the music stuff got incorporated into it, but when I heard that, it just totally flipped my thoughts of that statement after hearing her music or whatever that was. So I'll come over. Kofi's back, so Kofi, we'll go ahead and get your thoughts here.
Well, I mean, Kelvin already said everything that needs to be said in regards to that. For me, it is what it is. You know, as he stated, I was at the Mardi Gras when people were wearing saran wrap and trench coats and everything else and nothing at all. So, you know, we didn't have Insta cameras back then or, you know, stuff like that to really to show our youthful prowess at that time. But it is what it is. It's done. We can't change it. It's going to be a fun season because I'm sure somebody's band is going to come up in there, put it on the Jumbotron, and do the whole P Valley thing. I'm sure, you know,
wow.
it's going to happen, you know, sooner or later. But, you know, we are Rattlers, and we are still number one. At the end of the day, we are still who we are. You know, personally speaking, I think she needs a little bit of help. But there's certain things that only life can bring you, certain things that only life can teach you. And it seems like she's enrolling for a class to see the consequences of what happens when you make selfish decisions and you don't consider how it affects other people around you. She hasn't apologized. She probably won't. That's really what people like that do. They don't apologize. They feel like they're justified in what they're doing. And it is what it is. I personally would like to see her healed and obviously set free and delivered. But, you know, it is what it is at this time. So we're going to move on.
I was a little, like many of you probably, I really wish, of all things, like it's great to see, as Mel just put up there, put that up again, the statement or the sign from the FAMU Police Department. But what I really could have done without was the Office of Communications sending out the for immediate release that afternoon. I really wish that would have never happened because it almost added legitimacy to that. You know, you don't make an official, that thing you just let die. The internet's gonna have fun with it. Let it go away. I don't think they should have put out the communication.
Yeah, you know, but you know, people wanted to know that the administration was in fact, you know, I get it. I hear what you're saying, but you know, people wanted to hear that the administration was going to, or that they were involved, that they were going to, of course, do something. Of course, surprisingly enough, they actually made a statement.
Thank you. That's my point. We get it. We get a statement about that.
They actually made a darn statement. They released a statement. I was shocked. I was like, oh,
yes,
you know,
me too.
But
that's what upset me.
Let me say this: anything that's valuable has to be guarded. Yeah. So the mere fact that they took this long, because this isn't the first incident around the darn snake.
Right.
We had incidents around the snake since the snake has gone up. Okay. We've had incidents around other landmarks on the campus. since they've been up. If it's valuable, you guard it. You do something about it. It should have been done a long time ago, but it is what it is. Young people have a tendency not to consider all of the consequences. It's just a part of our humanity, so to speak. She used poor judgment, and I'm done talking about it till somebody bans or somebody tries us and does some stuff. And we just have to be ready on all fronts. We need to be doing our research and pulling up all kinds of articles and stuff and be prepared. But it is what it is.
I just hate the fact FAMU investigating social media posts. We're going to send a note out. Florida A&M University is aware of a post circulating on social media of a student photographed in front of the Rattler statue on campus. Vice President of Student Affairs, William Hudson Jr., PhD, said, quote, "The university is aware of the picture taken and is currently investigating the incident." But we can't get Dr. Robinson to make a comment about anybody and all the situation, the issues that are going on at FAMU athletics. But we finna comment about a damn internet post. All right, moving forward, that's the end. We closed the book on that chapter. We got some press box news in Bragg Stadium. Kelvin shot some great photos. If you guys haven't seen the press box that is finally up, I think it's all complete now. Kelvin, what can you tell us about? No, it's not. There's still work. Okay, give us an update, Kelvin, on what you have seen, what we know about the press box there on the west side of Bragg Stadium.
Where they've got ramps. That's the picture right there where they also putting new ramps, 88 accessible ramps to the grandstands on both the east and west side. And in terms of the press box, I know they're hooking up the AC and some of the internal things right now. But there's still quite a bit of work to be done infrastructure wise. With the IT closet and the media wiring and the cables and all that kind of good stuff. So there's quite a bit of equipment that's got to be put in there and so forth. So they'll be working probably right up until the week before to get everything going with all the lead-ins and so forth. But the fact that it came and was assembled before the month of August, put in place and everything is great. They're ahead of schedule, and it's long overdue. It is what it is. It's a better solution than what we had, and it does give a better appearance and hopefully a better atmosphere on game day. And we're going to have someone to give us a little bit more details from the project probably next week to talk about that.
We know the target. So what's the target date for completion? I mean, obviously our first home game is not until the 9th of September.
Yeah, they always build because of weather and other things, they always build in some additional time in project calendars. But completion wasn't supposed to be until the right before the week, going into the week of the first home game is the official anticipated completion date.
Okay. And everything else regarding the bleachers looks all done and complete now, correct?
No, they still got chairbacks they're putting up. Okay. And then I believe the lower area where the box seats are, that's white. I think they're looking at blending, painting all that so it all blends and it doesn't stick out. There's some. I know there's be some painting, and then we also have to deal with scoreboard and sound. They've taken down the old scoreboard. They have a temporary solution for this season.
The video scoreboard you're referring to. You're talking about the video.
Yes, the video board, yes.
Right. Not the scoreboard that's in front of the field house.
Right. The video board. So they have another company that'll be coming in and providing that service and for this football season, and they'll look to get a permanent solution next year, by next season.
Interesting. All right. And just again, what do we know the capacity of the stadium to be now? Because it'll go from what, 25 down to what, 23 something?
So I don't know because they haven't finished, but the anticipated number probably would be close to 21,000. I think we've lost about 4,000 seats.
Wow. Okay. All right. Well, yeah, we'll talk more about that shortly. Got to make a quick mention about our cheer squad. Don't want to forget about them and kind of moving over to another story. Congratulations to the Lady Rattlers, our cheer squad. This post via FAMU Athletics from Monday. Rattlers are the first HBCU to become the 45-second game day champions and win most collegiate at the NCAA college cheerleading camp. They also won first place rally routine and a gold paid bid to nationals. So big shout out, congratulations to our Lady Rattlers, a cheer squad, doing great work.
Yeah.
Hopefully as things stabilize within our athletic department, that they will receive the proper financial support that they deserve. But we're very aware right now there's so many issues right now that we just kind of sadly, I hate to say it, we got to add taking care of our cheerleaders to the list of things. And I know a lot of you in the chat rooms. I know my guy Double OC there asking about what do we know about the AD. Anybody want to touch that lightning rod there as what we know about the AD search, as they did have another meeting this past Monday?
It is what it is. At this point, there's really nothing to report that's substantial that necessarily people want to hear. We're at a point right now where, of course, the process that was instituted when they first chose the 18 people to basically go into all of those meetings told us what the process was going to be, even though they said that the goal was going to be to get something established by the OBC. There's nothing to report at this time. And that's basically it. What I would advise people to do is to really, because, a lot of times I don't think the board or our current administration really believes that we actually care about what's going on. And the only way they really get a clue as to what we really care about is for us to document our feelings in email form and send it to them multiple times, as many times as necessary until they address it. We're in a crisis when it comes to FAMU athletics, and we are in dire need of somebody to fill that seat. Why they don't get that is beyond me, And so again, as I've stated in times past, the mere fact that President Robinson had known that he was going to make changes with the AD ahead of time and did not have a contingency plan is quite concerning. And to me, it's unacceptable, because here we are losing coaches, not getting things done. We have an opening home game with a number of things that need to be done. Like, a lot of people just look at the game and be like, okay, the band, the football team there, the referees there, the lights on, we good. No, there's a number of things that go into game day productions that aren't close to being done. And unfortunately, Mike Smith is having to do a lot of this by himself because the rest of the department that was under Courtney has jumped ship, except for maybe like 2 people.
Wow.
So I want you all to get this. Okay. We had a full staff.
30 seconds.
Yeah, we had a full staff of people that was in place. Now we only have Mike, Padilla, and maybe one more person. Maybe.
Clooney's still there, isn't he?
I said maybe one more person. You said take 30 seconds. Now you mentioned the name, and now that take a distance.
I'm sorry.
So all I'm saying is, if we don't get involved, people, it's gonna be a whole lot worse before it gets better. So I'm encouraging each and every one of you that are under the sound of my voice, that can hear me and hear me well. Y'all, we need to write the BOT, all of them. The president needs to be written. He needs to be corrected. He needs to be rebuked. He needs to be openly put to task, because this is unacceptable for a school of our stature.
We're going to talk more about that call to action that has to happen. We'll talk about that here coming up a little bit later in the show. But let's take a quick break, because we're going to get into talking about the volleyball season, talk with our SWAC championship coach, Coach Gokhan Yilmaz, and start talking about this upcoming season as the Lady Rattlers get ready to run it back in the SWAC and go for a back-to-back championship. You're watching the OG Strike Zone. We'll be back in just a moment.
Time to call a credit repair company to fix my credit. Hold the phone, man. You can do it yourself with Credit Versio. That's way too hard. Call the credit repair company. Most credit repair companies only work on 1 or 2 accounts at a time, making it slow and expensive. You won't figure that out for months. Ignore him. Credit Versio's brilliant software scans all 3 credit bureaus, finds the accounts that are hurting your score, and guides you through the entire process. Anyone can do it. Let's fast forward and see the results. Wow, I fixed my own credit and saved hundreds. You can do this. Visit creditversio.com.
They say things are bigger in Texas. Well, Texas Cowboy Dust delivers big flavors every time. A flavorful blend of onion, Himalayan pink salt, dried shiitake mushrooms, and other ingredients that pair marvelously with steak, other red meats, and just about anything else you can cook. This versatile blend is all you need.
If you think all pads are exactly the same, think again. This is Always Ultra Thins reinvented with the Always Triple Protection System. This pad wicks gushes 90% faster, absorbs even more so you can feel dry, and locks odors in. Rethink your pad for up to 100% leak-free and odor-free comfort with the totally reinvented Always Ultra Thins. This is always like never before.
Maureen is saving big holiday shopping at Amazon, so now she's free to become Maureen the Merrier. Food is her love language, and she really loves her grandson. Like, really loves.
Thank you guys for what you do for HBCU athletics. This is a fantastic avenue for all of us. This is our ESPN, so we love what you guys do. Brian, AD, Roy, all you guys at BCSN. We really appreciate what it is that you guys do for us.
Bounty versus the old family dish towel. Drying with a fresh sheet of Bounty leaves your hands cleaner than a used dish towel that can carry and redistribute food residue. So ditch the dish towel for better hand hygiene. Bounty, the quicker picker-upper.
Itchy, squirmy, scratchy, family not getting clean? Get Charmin Ultra Strong.
Go get 'em.
It just cleans better. With a diamond weave texture, your family can use less while still getting clean.
Goodbye, itchy squirm.
Hello, cream bottom.
We all go. Why not enjoy the go with Charmin?
Welcome back to the ONG Strike Zone. Brian, Kelvin, Kofi, and it's a pleasure to be joined by the champ. The champs are here representing our championship volleyball team, SWAC Champions 2021, Coach Gokhan Yilmaz. Coach, it's good to see you again. How you doing, sir?
So far, so good. Yeah, thanks for having me again. Great to be here.
Hey, you've always got a spot here, Coach. You were kind of one of our first big gets on the show. We were a young show, and you came on and you blessed us, and then all of a sudden you had this great run, and so as Kofi said, you're an OG because you're definitely a friend of the program. And so we always will talk about FAMU volleyball whenever we can. So appreciate you coming on. Let's talk about the off season, Coach. What's the summer and spring been like for you and for the team?
We had a pretty good spring, I would say. We were able to play a couple of competition dates. We're allowed to play for them. We played two. We played a tournament at FSU and a match against Jason. Pretty successful. One of our transfers joined us in the spring semester. Jones was here. He was able to work out with the team along with 10 other players. So that was good. It's always fortunately middle work with the setters together for an extended period of time. Summer, unfortunately, we're not allowed to do anything as volleyball. That's an ongoing fight with our coaches organization and NCAA. We're always jealous of basketball. They can train their kids, but so we're not able to do anything. But I know some kids lifted here. They've been here lifting with our strength and conditioning coach, Nico. So that was good. And lastly, as soon as I heard I was going to be on the show, I met good-looking people on the show, but they didn't work there twice. I didn't catch the guy to cut my hair, so it's that part has been lacking a little bit.
That's all right, Coach. It's all right. Hey, look, we're in preseason mode, Coach. You know what I'm saying? We're in preseason mode, so it's all good. It's all good. Hey, so just to let people know, your first practice for the new season is actually Tuesday next week. The NCAA only gives 17 days of practices prior to. So for many people, that was kind of shocking. I'm not going to admit like I knew that, but it would just seem like you would get more time. So what kind of when you only get 17 days, what type of instruction or what type of guidelines do you try to give the team? Because obviously they have to do work on their own or in groups. So how does that work? What do you do, or how do you advise them to at least be able to come in some kind of shape ready to go?
Obviously, it's very difficult. It's a very short time if you think about it. And it's a matter of not overworking the kids so we don't face injury or having to sit them out some parts of the preseason. So you have to find that right balance. And out of those 17 days, obviously, you're going to give one of the Sundays off. That's always there. And, there's a travel day before your first match. And your practice before the competition is a light practice. It's a very interesting mixture of how much you can push the players and how much you have to be careful. We have an exhibition game against West Florida, which is a top 25 Division II team. They're here on August 19th to play us. It's always a good rehearsal to play. Last year we played FSU. It helped us a lot with getting ready. This year we're playing somebody different since FSU is in our regular season schedule. But returning a lot of players is really an advantage, and incoming players being transferred is an advantage. They've gone through the war. They know the demands of a college season. They know how to take care of their bodies. They know what they need to be prepared in terms of mental side of the game. So I think that will be an advantage. And try to put everybody on the same page. I think we did a good job with it last year. But every team is new. Every season is new. So it starts all over for us again.
Go ahead, Kelvin.
Coach, I want you to address a couple of things for me. The first thing I want you to talk about is how do you incorporate, you have quite a few transfers to add with your veteran squad that's returning. How do you incorporate them within a 2-week period so that they're competitive uh, as possible for your early season games? And you already talked about how you schedule your games so that you prepare for the postseason. So talk about the challenge of trying to incorporate new players into the system and having them ready by your first couple of weeks. And then talk about where your home games are going to be played at this year, because I think some folks was anticipating that those games would be at Gaither. So just talk about that.
Yeah, absolutely. Take on this is always early in the year, try to keep our system as simple as possible. So it's easy to adjust for incoming kids. It's very general. We don't run too many complicated plays. We don't do anything crazy. We don't have brief options for each scenario. So we try to make it simple where people can be successful in certain situations. And again, this year's team, I mean, we're bringing some kids that played in Mountain West Conference as very good back row players. We have one that's joining us was the SWAC Libero of the Year before we joined. The first one is Brooke Hudson. Second one is Jada Taylor. While Aja Jones was an exceptional player for Florida Gulf Coast. We have Brooke Watts that's admitted to the university today, so that's great news. She was the number 7 point scorer in the country. And Nina Sharpton started for NC State and was recruited very highly out of high school. So they all know how to play college game. And for us to keep it simple early on, add blocks to that when the season is, has helped us a lot in the past. And we're planning on doing the same thing again. Gaither is really interesting, and I don't want to call it disappointing, but it's a working process, and it has taken longer than what we expected for various reasons. And you and I had several conversations. One that started the renovation had the idea of playing volleyball, which I really like since I got here. I think it can be a great home court advantage for us. But the floor is done again. The bleachers have issues. One side doesn't come out, and we don't have the place. And we also have some issues with the goals moving and not moving, all that type of stuff at the moment. So locker rooms are issue in terms of visiting team locker rooms, officials locker rooms. There's a lot goes into hosting an NCAA volleyball match, especially in Division 1. We will still hold of our practices in Gaither, and it is a more productive venue for us size-wise. We can set up 2 courts sideways. It's honestly easier to schedule. I hope so. It's easier to schedule. And we have some practices in Al Lawson before we play. But at this moment, it's not feasible to play in Gaither, although the floor looks exceptional for volleyball. And we would love to play and call that home of our volleyball team here at FAMU. I think needs a little bit more and time to be put in it.
Okay.
Kofi, go ahead.
Coach, I don't think you realize, obviously, once the rumor mill gets started, a whole bunch of stuff gets thrown out there. So the first thing I want you to do is just confirm that you are the head coach, the head women's volleyball coach at Florida A&M University, and that you are not going to Grambling University to be their head coach. The next thing is also to take the time to talk about, I want to say, the outlook for this year, as opposed to where we were this time last year having to deal with COVID.
Wow, you put me on the spot like that. Okay. So do you want me to answer it as Grambling State head coach or FAMU head coach?
Yeah. Well, you best go ahead and say the FAMU head coach, unless it's gonna be some popping off up in here for real. You getting ready to set the whole internet all the way on fire, coach. You already know.
Well, I am proud to say I'm the head volleyball coach here.
Oh no! Oh no! No! Wait a minute. Who came and cut his cord? Oh my God! I didn't even know that was something that was. Oh my goodness! Let's see. Let's give Coach a minute. My gosh, the snipers! I'm telling you, man. Let's pay attention. So I didn't even know that was. But Kofi, boy, you let us down. I don't know where these internet rumors are, but wow.
To follow
right,
the
Coach
footsteps of.
All right, start over, coach.
Hold on, coach. Start over again because you got sniped. You got sniped right as you were telling us who you were the head coach for.
Oh, I'm proud to say I'm the head volleyball coach here at Florida A&M. I'm not going anywhere.
All right, great.
I don't know where that rumor started. Our SID showed me some of the stuff that people are posting, but I am the head volleyball coach here. I'm not going anywhere. Like I was saying, I really love this university. I love the city of Tallahassee. I really like our team, so I have no intention to leave at the moment. So that's where we are with that question. The next one is hoping that this year is going to be continuation from the last. And we did some good things last year. We had some matches we could have won in preseason. And we are returning a good group of players back. And I think our team is in good shape to add the transfers and build on to what we did. But realizing that every season is different. So it has to be, again, a team and has its own identity and then move forward. But this is the progression of good programs where you start somewhere and then you add some kids. And just to give you an example, our 2023 class is practically done. This is the first year we recruited early. We have all of our commitments from really good volleyball parts of the country. And I think that's going to keep building our program too. But I'm very optimistic about this season. And that's why we scheduled more difficult than we did last year. We have way more Power 5 matches and matches against teams that we're thinking will be in the NCAA tournament.
Hey, Coach, let's talk about some of those returners and this veteran group, because as I did the math looking at the roster, we actually have it's a very veteran group, as you've already pointed out. We have 9 players on this year's team with at least 4+ years of college volleyball experience. 9. I mean that's like 9 out of if I did the math, we only have where are my notes here? 9 out of 13. We have like 3 sophomores, 2 redshirt sophomores. Now that's according to the roster that I saw. So when you have that kind of experience, and as you talked about the transfers, and you talked about simplifying things, what's the expectation level? What does this season? I mean, a 25-win season. What's the expectation of your veterans for this season?
Always winning the first championship is difficult, but usually winning the second one is difficult than the first, because now the rest of the group that thought they should have won the year before are all chasing you. And complacency is a human trait. It's easy to fall complacent and think that you're going to be able to do the same things you did the year before. You still have to work hard, and you still have to be ahead of the pack in order to be a champion. The goal here is to compete against difficult competition in preseason, that we would see different styles of volleyball that we might face during the NCAA tournament. And our conference goal is to be the conference tournament champion. On being a higher seed is important, but regular season doesn't get there. So our goal is to win on that third week of November, and that's what we'll try to do again. And having an group experience is something you cannot buy. You have to go through a lot of different things to experience. So I'm lucky to have a group that went through not only college seasons, but went through the COVID season. With seasons we had NCAA sanctions, went through the times that they might be hurt, or went through the times that they played through some of the injuries or some of the pains and aches that they had. So I think that's very valuable, and those type of players did very well on my teams. That's the type of player I like. So I think that always plays to our advantage. But we only graduate 5 this year. So we have majority of the commitments coming back, and we'll have a good group. We still have 10 coming back the following year. So I think we're set to continue at the successful path we started, and just keep building on what we have currently.
Real quick before I toss it over to you, Kelvin, of course, our key returners for folks who may be watching or tuning in, we have Dominique Washington coming back, the SWAC Player of the Year, SWAC Newcomer of the Year, probably one of the best stories in NCAA volleyball, I would imagine. I mean, if you followed her track from where she was a role player at Georgia Tech to becoming, you know, what she excelled to, had to be one of the best stories in college volleyball. And then Iramu Carr, redshirt senior setter. She was the SWAC Setter of the Year, also first team SWAC. And returning Jasmine Robinson, a sophomore outside hitter. She was on SWAC second team this past year. For a brief moment, Coach, talk about Dominique and Iram. Where can they go? How high? Is there another level for those two young ladies for this season?
There is. They both are not only good volleyball players, but very humble individuals that they understand they still have a lot of work to do. And by that attitude, they are forcing the rest of our team to work hard. So those are not the kids that take it easy because they're good. They want to get better every day. And I think that plays a lot into the team chemistry and the team culture and the program culture that everybody is trying to build around the country. So I'm lucky to have those two here. And but we also have several kids that are not mentioned due to the 2-3. We have really great ones that are outshining those. But we have, you mentioned Jasmine, we have several other ones that I have to go through all 15 of them that, and the reason for that is they all have significant playing experience in NCAA level. So we're expecting really productive practices and practices that people are pushing each other, and that's how you get the best out of your team and out of the individuals that are here currently.
Go ahead, Kelvin.
Coach, size up the SWAC for me this year in terms of volleyball. I know Pine Bluff and Jackson State have typically, and Alabama State have typically been the nemesis and some of the tougher competition. But you know, the SWAC volleyball has been fairly balanced. But you know, there has been tiers to it. I'm not sure what the everybody else has coming back and bought in. Have you paid attention to that? And what do you think SWAC volleyball is this season?
Only follow what the other do, just trying to stay ahead of her. Also recruit at least to the level of everybody else, if not. Jackson State is bringing their entire squad back. They have a very nice graduate transfer from UCF. Morgan Chambers was a very good player coming out of high school. So she'll help them quite a bit. Alabama State is bringing pretty much their entire unit but one player. They added a very good setter from Arizona. They're adding a nice back row player from a Division II school in Arkansas. And I believe they're adding a kid from Georgia State. So they are going to be a force to play. I think Grambling, with everything that happened there, they have a good unit that will be competitive and will be trying to place high in the conference. And out of all the other ones, I think Southern has a very good group coming in. A couple of nice freshmen that we were watching early on as well. And Prairie View added a lot of kids. I think I touch base regularly. They're very optimistic with how physical those kids are. So I would expect them to be good as well. Not saying the rest will not be competitive, but those are the ones that I have the most knowledge. And I'm expecting the level to improve, and I'm expecting actually more out of conference wins this year from everybody than we had in the past, because not only the athletics is improving, the level of play, the mastery of the game, the skill level, tactical level, they're all improving, and it always helps to bring a lot of kids back. So I think this can be a really, really good year overall for the whole conference.
Good stuff. Brian, you on mute, I think.
Sorry about that. Kofi, any final thoughts or questions that you have for Coach?
Yeah. Do you envision a scenario where our volleyball program will be able to compete at the Sweet 16, Elite 8, Final 4 one day? And if so, what do we need to do to make that transition?
I think it has a lot of to be answered. The majority of the issue would be how your conference elevates, because your conference needs to be able to win a lot of out of conference matches, and that starts maybe with us or maybe with Alabama State or Jackson. So the pack that's leading the top 4 or 5 has to be getting several out of conference wins. But the other part of it is you need the support to be able to do that. And I know
if you get
I watch
Coach,
your show every week.
Go ahead, Coach.
No, we got it. Go ahead,
Okay.
Coach. Sorry.
I watch your show every week. I know you mentioned this, I think last week, that you don't do a lot with little every time. If you want to do a lot, you need a lot. So you need to be able to support at the 16 level to get to that level. And I think that's the biggest hurdle for us, where everything that's surrounding the program, from your staff, including them, your strength coach, your trainer, to your assistant coaches, to the way you travel, to the recruiting budget you have, which I have 0 at the moment. Everything plays into the fact that determines how much you can compete and who you can compete against. Good coaches and good players make a difference, but to a certain extent. You cannot be deficient in some areas and still consistently make it to the round of 16. And I'll give you several examples of this without saying specific schools, but there has been some here and there, if you look at the years, teams that get to surprise everybody, but then they never make it again back to that level. Because it comes back with that support and the culture you have. I think that's where it would start, where you're out of the first round. And in order to do that, I think if you look at our roster, I mean, we do not have a full-time assistant. So it makes it very difficult for us to compete even with recruiting or scouting or practicing. So I think those are the pieces that need to come together first before we can talk about, can we go rounds in the NCAA and that type of thing. So it is a really layered conversation. There is things that coaches put together, what the funding is for those type of teams, or not even the funding for ACC or SEC. We're talking about Atlantic Sun or Sun Belt, those type of conferences. I think it starts with elevating those. Then you couple that with good coaches, you couple that with good players, then you can go to places. But I'm going to finish it with saying this one. We can recruit to Florida A&M University. This is a place that is very attractive to the volleyball players. And you've seen the level of recruits that we've been attracting here. But we need that resource structure and the culture built in to be able to do more. So I think that's the easiest way to be able to answer that question. I don't know if that makes a whole lot of sense, but
No, you made
at least
perfect sense.
my take.
Yeah, you make
Yeah.
perfect sense, and it's what's
No, you
needed to
nailed
be
it, Coach.
said.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Do more with more is the motto that we've been impressing upon as many people as we can. What are you? I'm like, what are you doing?
I had to make sure I was doing that to make sure I wasn't sniped. So did Coach Gomez, did Coach Yilmaz get sniped? Because he's sitting there real still. Coach, if you do like this, I know you didn't get sniped. He ain't doing like that.
He's still there. He's still there.
He's still
He
there,
ain't doing
though.
like
He's
that.
still there.
Oh, okay.
No, look. Hey, do more with more is the motto. And of course, look, I know I'm going to, again, tell everybody at the same time we telling people to write letters, we telling you we have to still support our student athletes. We have to find a way. We have to deal with the bull junk that we are seeing going on out there, but we still have to support. So our volleyball program has needs. We need to make those donations. You can make those donations, I'm sure, through the FAMU Foundation and specifically target them to the volleyball program. I know Dr. Lori and her group out there, I know they're all about specifically the women's athletic programs like volleyball and like basketball. And so all of our coaches, we need your support. And I know what that sounds like as I'm telling y'all that, because you're like, all this stuff going on. Yes, we know it's a mess. We know, but we have good programs in spite of. So this is a championship team. We need to make sure that our girls, when they hit the road, when they go to NC State and play Kansas State, that they have great accommodations. They got food that's taken. We need to make sure it's a first class trip for them. All right. Our producer there, Mel. Let's see. Mel. I think Mel, we got to fix that. Go back to the 3 shot there, Mel. Well, we're ahead of ourselves here. We're ahead of ourselves. Somehow we got.
I think Coach might have logged on over you.
Yeah. Well, who knows what code did you give the coaches there, Kelvin? We have to look at that. But anyway, oh my goodness. Okay. Well, hey, so yeah, we want you all to go ahead and support our women's volleyball program. Before we go to a break, I did want to spotlight a few key opponents upcoming. August 31st at Florida State University. That's when the Lady Rattlers take on Florida State. That is a regular season contest. They're on the road over at Florida State. September 2nd is the first regular season home game. That's against Yale. And as we said earlier, those games this year are going to be played in the Lawson Center. There is a preseason match in the Lawson Center on August 19th. Another key date, September 10th, the Lady Rattlers travel to North Carolina A&T. It's interesting. I'm not even going to ask what's funny. I'm not even going to ask. November, September 10th, North Carolina A&T.
Please ask.
What?
Ask.
No, I'm not going to ask because I'm trying to get through these key dates. No, I'm not going to ask. It's interesting. Hey, Kelvin, I'm going to talk to you. I'm not talking to Kofi. North Carolina A&T is actually ranked according to Massey ratings with a higher rating than FAMU. So that's an interesting matchup there on September 10th. September 23rd is the first SWAC game of the season as FAMU travels to take on Bethune-Cookman. October 14th, that's when we have the matchup against Jackson State University. And then November 11th, we host Jackson State. So that's those are the two games right there. And just so people know, FAMU has 4 top 100 opponents this year, according to Massey. That's North Carolina State, Kansas State, Florida State, and Ole Miss. So a full loaded schedule coming up. All right, let's take a break because we do have our next guest lined up, apparently. So let's get ready to do that. And we're going to talk to Coach Mike Rice coming up on the other side. You're watching the ONG Strike Zone. We'll be back in just a moment.
One bite of 100% Angus beef ballpark frank, and you'll say, hello, summer. Oh yeah, it's ballpark season.
AD Drew and I are co-hosts of the BCSN Sports Wrap. We talk about all things related to HBCU athletics. From the games, teams, coaches, and fan interest stories, we cover it all. You can find our shows on Facebook at BCSN Sports Wrap, YouTube at MyJBN Online, and everywhere you listen to podcasts like Anchor, Spotify, Google, and Apple Podcasts. You can also find the show on the Jericho Broadcast Network's app. Make sure to download. We look forward to you joining the conversation and being a part of the show.
Sugar Chateau Desserts is a specialty bakery located in the Charlotte, North Carolina metro area. We will create delicious and one-of-a-kind treats for any occasion. Sugar Chateau is currently shipping cakes in a jar, offering a variety of different flavors in a single-serve container that can help you celebrate in accordance with social distancing. Place your orders today by calling 803-526-7895 or visiting sugarchateaudesserts.com.
Whether it's advice on managing your anxiety or tools to help you stay grounded, Coping-19 provides a range of resources and self-care tips to help you cope with this pandemic. We can help. Find the resources that work best for you at coping-19.org.
For my people that don't get to see me, trying to remind you who you are, just like in Romans 3. See, we about to blow across the world just like a day that's breezy. This motivation for the people and this classic Bible teaching say, make this for my people that don't get to see me, trying to remind you who you are, just like in Romans 3. See, we about to blow across the world just like a day that's breezy. This motivation for the people and this classic Bible teaching, hey, motivation.
This is Carlos Brown, letting you know that we're on the move. You can now catch the Carlos Brown Show beginning this July on the Black College Sports Network each and every Saturday from 11 to 1 Eastern Time. That's 10 to 12 Central Time. Same time, new place. On Facebook at the Carlos Brown Show and Black College Sports Network. Online at www.mybcsn.net and on the BCSN app available on Google Play and the Apple App Store.
You see, Head & Shoulders has scalp shield technology, protects against flakes, even between washes. It's never not working.
Kind of like us. Number 15?
Never not working.
I don't like this one.
Me neither.
Let's get out of here.
Head & Shoulders scalp shield, never not working.
Oh, that spin class was brutal. Well, you can try using the Buick's massaging seat. Oh, yeah, that's nice. Can I use Apple CarPlay to put some music on? Sure. It's wireless. Pick something we all like. Okay, hold on. What's your Buick's Wi-Fi password? Buick Envision 2021. Oh, you should pick something stronger. That's really predictable. That's a really tight spot. Don't worry. I used to hate parallel parking. Me too. Hey.
Really outdid yourself.
Yes, we did.
The all-new Buick Envision, an SUV built around you, all of you.
All right, welcome back to the O&G Strike Zone. Brian, Kelvin, and Kofi. Want to give a quick shout out first off to Coach Gokhan Yilmaz. Apologies on a little technical snafu. We appreciate him and his time. Kelvin, make sure we send out some a note to Coach and let him know we appreciate him and that we'll make sure. But we need y'all to go ahead and give that support though, for real. That's also the most important part. As you can see, joining us right now. What we like to call another OG, another champ, a friend of the O&G. It's Coach Mike Rice. Unfortunately, we have to say our former men's golf coach, but he's going to be doing big things in Prairie View, Texas, as he's going to be leading the men and women's golf program at Prairie View. Coach Rice, thanks for coming on and joining us. How are you doing this evening?
Man, I'm doing great. Thanks for having me. But I still have 2 more days on the hill, so I'm not quite former yet. As of next week, I will be officially the Prairie View University head men's women's head coach. So still got a couple of days.
Right, and I should have led by saying definitely as an All-American and a FAMU Hall of Famer. That's where I really should have led. So my apologies for that. You know, when you get all them titles, coaches, sometimes us people who do the introductions, we got to figure out the right order of things. So you're always a rattler, though. So that's one of the things I had to make sure we highlight. Talk a little bit about what has the last month been like for you and your family?
So it's been crazy. First, want to say y'all had Gokhan on, and he's a real down to earth guy. But I can tell y'all, he's a heck of a coach. We got one of a kind there. He is the best volleyball coach in the SWAC, period. And so he doesn't give himself enough credit. I'm gonna give it to him. I've got to know him really well, along with all of our coaches. But that guy's special. We got to keep him around. So, but after that, to say, you know, last month's been crazy. It took me a long time to make the decision. Obviously, I am a rattler forever and ever. That never goes away, and that was a big, you know, part of trying to get over was, you know, I love FAMU. That never changes. But have an opportunity at Prairie View University to kind of go out there and do something a little different and maybe, you know, what they say, spread your wings and you know, still be able to touch these young people, and that's what I'm really excited about. Took a little while. You know, family is definitely 100% in. They'll be staying in Tallahassee for at least a couple of years, as my daughter has to graduate high school, and I have a son getting ready to head to go to high school as well. But just a great opportunity to grow another program and see what I can do out there with the resources they have. Prairie View University is an amazing campus, gorgeous, with just a lot of potential.
Go ahead, Kelvin.
Coach, talk about the opportunity and the decision ultimately. I understand, more resources you're doing, men and women. Um, you've coached women before though. We just didn't have a women's team. But just talk about your journey from the offer to the decision to make that transition, and your what you anticipate your first couple of weeks, first month away from Tallahassee, and putting that program together. Just kind of talk about the journey.
So again, yeah, it is men and women, which is different. I was fighting for here. I still think we need to get a women's program here at FAMU. I think that's a must and something that continues. We need to continue to have talks about. I think again, there's a lot of young women out there that want to come to FAMU and play golf, and there's going to be a program out there where I get a chance to coach the women, which will be a first for me in college golf. You're right, I have coached women before, especially given lessons in that over the years. So that's exciting to grow that, to see what that's like. Program out there, they went a whole year with no coach, so no recruiting for a year, set you back a little bit, but they have a program that's been very successful. They won 3 out of the last 4 SWAC events in the men's side. So the men have been very successful, and the women have competed at a high level as well. So the program's not like starting over. It's just going out there and trying to improve it and grow it to what I think is, it just has a lot of potential out there to grow to something that I think would be harder to do at FAMU at this moment in time.
Gotcha.
Go ahead, Kofi.
So, why would it be hard?
Look, resources in Texas are different than resources in Florida. Some people have been telling me, Texas got all that money. They do, and that was one of the things that enticed me, was to have a bigger budget to work with. And then, just they have land out there that's crazy. One of the things that I want to do when I get out there is build a practice facility for the teams, build a driving range with, a short game area. We've done something similar on campus, but out there, I mean, they could build golf courses and never touch all their land. To me, that gives me a lot of potential to grow a program in a whole different area that no HBCU has ever been in. Resources, Gokhan talked about it. If we want to grow programs to that next level, you got to have those resources to do it. And, I feel like at Prairie View we have those. Right here, we're still fighting for them. And, hopefully, and I say this, I've been around here for 10 years. Hopefully we get an AD in there that can help with that. And everybody knows that. It's not a secret. We need an AD in there that can support these programs and go out and fundraise and bring the money into athletics so that we can support, the Olympic sports. I would say smaller, the Olympic sports, because it's harder. That mean we can. We proved in golf, we could be successful, no question about it. But we could be even more successful. When you talk to Gokhan about going to Final Fours and Elite Eights and Sweet 16s, those things are possible, but you got to have resources to do it. And we just need to get there. And look, I'm leaving FAMU. My money is coming back. I will still send it every month because I bleed orange and green. That will never go away. But we gotta do a better job of supporting athletics and bringing the money in. That's really what it is. It's all about the money at the end of the day.
So, do you feel as though what needs to click? Okay, so we already know that we have to have an AD. From an administrative standpoint and BOT standpoint, is there more that they can do? And if so, where would you like to see that support?
I mean, again, Colby, I think it still comes down to money, right? Budgets. We need to improve and I don't want to say improve because we have great workers, we have great coaches, no question about it. But we need more of it. We need more academic advisors. We need more coaches. We need we need money for travel. We need, again, it all comes down to that. If you don't have it, you can't bring the people in to support the student athletes and the coaches. And when you don't have that, it's hard to get to that level that all of us know that we're capable of. I mean, we know what where we can go, no doubt about it. I mean, the sky is the limit, but we got to have the resources and the money to do it.
Help a coach.
I I had a thought, Coach, as you were talking about Prairie View putting forth money. Was the vision of not only the land, the financial backing, but maybe even being, I mean, Prairie View, as you stated, they had success in their golf program, and having talked to some alums there at Prairie View, their previous coach, they messed that up. According to people I've talked to, so that opportunity was there. As you envision the future of what you're looking to build as a national program, very similar to what you were building here at FAMU, but even going to another level, more realistic? Is that something that you were able to sell them on in terms of a vision of where you wanted to go?
Hey, coach,
Yeah.
before you answer that, talk in answering that, talk about the resources that you'll have going in terms of coaches, assistant coaches, some of those resources. Be specific, because Rally Nation need to hear
Gotcha.
this.
So, yes, I mean, I think the investment they're making can allow us to get to that national level. All right. And saying that, there were a few things that I was asking for in order for them to make it happen. They're 100% behind what I bring to the table, which is nice, right? You want people to want you, right? And so that's always nice. But obviously they've seen what I've done at FAMU and been able to grow our program to where it is. To take that there and then them to give me the resources, and some of those that Kevin's talking about is having a full-time assistant, right? That's nice to have. I have an assistant at FAMU, and Mia Campbell does an amazing job, but she's also a full-time graduate student. And that changes what you could do, because eventually school is going to be first, and that's always going to be on my mind. Is that she's got, with our athletes, school comes first, the grades are number one. And so, having the full time plus a GA out there is helpful. I mean, that gives me hands that I don't have now. The budget is way bigger. I'm not going to tell you what that is, but it's way bigger than what I have here to work with. So those are the things that definitely, when I started looking into this, I was like, wow, I could take, hopefully take it to the next level. And I'm going to say this: the best talent we've ever had on this campus is coming back next year. I will tell you that now. Whoever comes in, and I pray we get a good coach behind me, they've inherited something really, really good, and a team that's going to go for years and compete, because we're really young. But the talent is, and that was tough to leave behind. That was a big, cannot really, leaving these guys behind, knowing how good we are, is a hard decision to make. Just like leaving my family home was an even bigger decision to make. But I just see the potential out there as being so big that being able to grow something into something that really can make HBCU proud. And at the end of the day, that's still what I'm doing, and that's what I want to do. I don't think my job is done. I think my calling is to coach. I can influence some people that maybe some other coaches that don't look like me can, and then I'm gonna push that umbrella until I finish coaching. That my teams will always look different, because I'm gonna recruit those kids that I think should be at that university, and maybe not, some of these other programs are going in another direction that they just want to win. I'm not behind that. So I think we can do it. And again, I'm excited. Again, I love FAMU. I am so appreciative to have the opportunity to coach at FAMU, and so many friends and that are life friends that I'll be bringing with me. And, so I just see a potential there that is what enticed me to go.
If you would, for a minute, Coach, talk about how tough the conversations were that you had with your players, the many of the young guys that you brought in, and their families, and talk a little bit about how tough those conversations were for you when you had to share the news with them.
Well, I think just like Rattler Nation was shocked, they were even more shocked, right? And so I had never, intentions of leaving FAMU were not in me. I enjoy being at FAMU. I love what I do. So having that conversation, they were shocked, and it wasn't an easy conversation. I gave them my advice, which was to stay at FAMU and to stay there and finish what they came there to do. And if they're not happy, they know where I am, right? At the end of the day, we want these guys to be happy and successful. I think the new guys or newer guy probably took it harder than anybody else. When you're recruiting these kids, you have 2 and 3 year relationships with them, and then a lot of times they pick to come there because of the coach, and then to find out the coach ain't coming, that's tough on a 18, 17 or 18-year-old kid, and so those have been, and then parents as well, they're calling too, like, I'm still working the next 2 days to still work and make sure that everything is ready for them when they get here. So it's a smooth transition. I do not want the program to go down. I think we're at a high level, and whoever comes in, I want them to succeed as well. So, but those conversations are still going on, so they're not, dead yet either. And they're still trying to work through with some of these parents. So.
Thank you for sharing that, Coach. Kelvin, give you the last word before we close this segment with Coach Rice.
Well, I think we've got some special guests that want to say something to Coach, and Coach knows. I've seen some pictures today, and of course in my own household, my little one and my wife gave some presentations, but Coach Rice is very highly thought of. Many constituents across the university spectrum. He's been there, he's been available, and he supported the university not just with athletics, but other academic units and whoever else he could, and he's been an advocate. So when people found out he was going to be on the show, there was a lot of inquiries, and there was a lot of people who wanted to publicly give him his flowers before he get out of here. Show that Rattler love. So I don't know if Mel has one of our guests or two of our guests. I don't know if both of them on there or not, but have our guests ready. But if she does, now would be a good time to bring those folks who wanted to say something to you.
Hey, P.
What's good, Coach?
How you doing, Fitz?
Hey, every time I see you, I'm doing good.
Yeah, that's my guy right there, AP.
I'm gonna say, Coach, won't you introduce your guy, and then once Coach introduce you, go ahead and share whatever you would like to share with Rattler Nation about Coach.
Yeah, so this is one of my first guys. When I came on as an assistant coach, Fitz, how long has it been?
10 years.
Good gracious, 10 years.
I was a freshman.
He was a freshman, so when I came on, this was a guy that I spent hours and hours with. We created a relationship and a bond, really working hard on his game. And look, ain't too many work harder than that guy right there. But You know, he's a gem. I promise you that. I'd love to see him come back here, coach. I'd put a word in for him for sure.
Okay.
Wow.
Go ahead, Anthony. What do you got for Coach?
Hey, Fitz, tell
Yes,
everybody
sir.
what you're doing first, and
Okay.
then
Yeah,
go ahead and talk about Coach.
Yeah, my name is Anthony Phipps. I'm from Orlando, Florida. I played under Coach Rice from 2000, freshman 2011 to 2015. And since then, I turned pro and I played mini tour golf throughout Florida and been traveling and trying to. I did qualify for a PGA Tour event and trying to get back out there eventually. So, like I said, let's rewind the tapes back to that was fall 2011. Coach Rice came in; he was assistant coach, and to see how far the program has come since 10 years ago to now is amazing. And like Coach Rice just said, that right off rip, me and him got along very well. He helped me out with my golf game, my swing, my course management. And I tell people that if you can't get along with Coach Rice, then I think you're the problem, because this guy he's a good guy. So, and Coach, you remember probably my junior year, just see the ups and downs of the FAMU golf team, and probably what you're going to have to deal with at Prairie View is that we started out, I think we had four. It was me, Randon, Amari, and Justin my sophomore year. And then we got cut. We got suspended. Remember that? Remember they suspended the program, and Coach Rice and Coach Green fought their way back, and we were able to come back the next semester. And that semester, we finished second at PGA Minority. We were trying so hard to win it, man. But I'm glad that coach finally was able to bring some good recruits in and ended up winning MEAC, and now it's one of the best HBCU of the best HBCU golf program in the country.
It's been hard work, that's for sure.
Yeah.
And we put a lot of time in to grow it, but he was right. That year we almost ran him down. And at one point, again, you're out there under the moment, you don't know what's going on. Looking back, we had run him down. We had spotted him a lot of shots, but we kind of gave up a couple on the last. They ended up coming through, but that was
Yes, sir.
So Phil, why was it important for you to come on the show and just public acknowledge Coach Rice and his contributions to your game and to FAMU?
Like I said, just like I said, I still keep in touch with Coach Rice ever since I graduated FAMU. Every time I come up Tallahassee, I play the Tallahassee Open every year. I come up, first person I hit up, Coach Rice. And it's just that, like I said, that relationship we had right off the bat, it was just something that, it just happened so naturally. And, one of my fondest moments of Coach Rice is about maybe 4 years ago. I'm traveling and playing tournaments, and I'm doing qualifiers every week before a PGA Tour tournament. There's a qualifier that anybody can sign up for, and as long as you finish in the top, 10 out of 80 people, you move on to the second and final round of qualifying, and if you make it through that stage, you get to play in the PGA Tour event. So that particular week, it was November. It was in Brunswick, Georgia. I remember this vividly. I made it through the first round by myself. So I came in the top 10, and then it was my first, it's called a PGA Tour Monday qualifier. So all the big guys are there. And to be honest, this is my first time I've actually was pretty nervous. So I hit up a few people, and it was last minute. I said, hey, I need a caddy. I hit up my boys. I need a caddy. I got to work. It's Monday. I got to work. So I said, man, let me hit up Coach Rice. And I think from Brunswick to Tallahassee, what was it about? 3-hour drive, Coach? I don't know. 4-hour drive? that morning, that Monday morning, Coach Rice probably woke up 4 o'clock in the morning, drove from from Tallahassee to Brunswick, and walked from and carried my bag in that Monday qualifier. Even I didn't make it, but small stuff like that, man. I'll never forget about
That's
Coach
big.
Rice. Yeah,
Yeah,
That's big.
that's awesome. Big heart.
That's all.
Great guy.
yes, sir.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have missed it for nothing either. What a great experience.
It was.
Anthony, what would you hope that the those who might be listening, because we know they listen, what would you hope that our administration brings in? What type of person? What type of leader? I know Coach Rice is hard to duplicate. What would you want to
Yeah.
see FAMU bring in to help continue leading this program?
They're gonna have obviously big shoes to fill, but just like you said, like I said, it takes time, just patience. It takes patience. Golf is not a game where you can, like any other sport or life. It takes time. Got to have the resources. So, like I mentioned, Coach Rice came in, started helping the program 10 years ago. Year after year after year, we started seeing those building blocks, and they were able to, win a MEAC championship. Last year, Coach? So,
Yes, sir.
it takes time. It's going to take patience. It's not going to happen overnight. But I think if they're provided, the right, resources and I'm sure Coach Rice is going to point them in the right direction. I have people hitting me up asking about FAMU golf team. So first person I hit up is, Coach Rice. I got someone for you. So I'll be more than glad to help out the next coach in line. Because I love my HBCU, I love my family, and I want to see him succeed.
Appreciate
Amen.
that. Appreciate that. Anthony, let people know how they can find you. Let Rattler, if Rattler Nation isn't following you on Twitter or Instagram, how can they reach you? How can they find you?
I think he froze up.
Did we lose him there?
The sniper.
Yeah.
The sniper.
Lit.
Hey, Coach, that speaks volumes, man. That your former players and that he's well removed from being a. Oh, we got you back, Anthony. There we go. There we go. Yeah. Hey, I just wanted to let Rattler Nation know how they can reach you. Give out your social media tags so people can reach you.
Yeah, I'm on Anthony Phipps. I'm on Instagram. AP, my initials AP_2 TWO, and I have some follow my golf journey there. I'm still repping FAMU, and but like I said, I'm still supporting Coach Rice in his endeavors at Prairie View for sure.
I appreciate that tip.
Yes, sir.
Well said. Well, spread the word, Anthony. Man, we're trying to get this. We're trying to get a movement going. Do more with more. We're tired of building and working off of crumbs. We got too much good talent, like yourself. Good coaches like Coach Rice. We just got to do more with more. So keep spreading the flames, and as many people as you can tell, we need to keep finding ways of supporting all of our programs.
And one last thing, and like I think that what made the FAMU golf team, like the family was so tight that, and Coach Rice knows that all of my former teammates and I, we still keep in touch. Shepard Archie, Justin Stills, and Amari Whitmore. I've made some of my best friends from FAMU golf team. So, and I think that's the FAMU environment as well. But man, that golf connection. Right. That family it's incredible. Those are some of my best friends that I met, and it's because of those battles that we went through on the golf course, losing our golf program, small stuff like that, that just held us a little bit tighter together.
Yeah,
it's important. That's the one we pushed that hard in golf, especially at FAMU, that team is going to be a family. We're going to be close. Fitz tells that story. I tell this. My roommate was in town this week, and his daughter just graduated from FAMU. He's trying to find a place to move her stuff. All the storage areas are closed, so he calls me up and says, "Hey, you got somewhere where I can store it?" Absolutely. Bring it by. I wasn't even here. I was out of town. I said, "Come on by. The wife will find a spot for you." So the same, and when I was playing at FAMU, the same way. Those are still my best, some of my best friends. So, I think that's something that we carried along. Something I did. I think that's important, especially if you're going to succeed as well. And I think that's important for whoever comes in to continue that legacy.
Well said. Well
So
said,
support
Coach.
that
I'm gonna
guy
give you
right
the.
there.
Who?
Thanks, Coach.
Yes,
So
sir.
support
Coach, give
that
you the
young
last
man like
word.
that.
That's right.
Uh,
Anthony, give the handle out again one more time. Hold on, Coach. Get a handle out one more time, Anthony, just in case they didn't hear you in the chat
Yeah,
room.
it's AP, the letters AP _ TWL, AP _2.
All right, Rattler Nation, please make sure to go follow Anthony Phipps out there. Coach Rice, last word is yours. You're an OG. It's not going to be the last time we see you, but your last couple of days as the head men's golf coach. So we want to give you the last word.
Well, first of all, appreciate y'all having me on. Definitely support that young man right there. He's busting his tail to play professional golf, which is not easy, and obviously still repping FAMU, and we know how much we love FAMU, right? And saying that, look, it's probably been the best 10 years of my life being up there, being able to influence these young men and have something, the end of the day that I get a chance to be a part of their life and their parents' lives. And to me, that's more important than the wins. And then just creating these life memories that we've been able to do for these young guys and giving them experiences that they'll never forget is huge to me. But look, I'm a Rattler for life. Like I said, I will continue to send my money back to support FAMU, and I'm just appreciative to have the opportunity to coach this team, for 10 years, 4 years as head coach. And, I hope whoever comes in after me can take it and grow it and move it in the right direction. And I'm going to do everything I can to support whoever that is. And again, I love FAMU, and, I'm FAMU for life.
Thank you, Coach. Thank you for everything
Thank you, Coach.
you have done, you are doing, and you will do in the future. We appreciate you and we love you.
Amen.
Hey, thank you. I love y'all too. Hey, P, see you soon, bud.
Anthony,
All right, Coach.
thanks for coming on. Thanks for coming on, AP. Best of luck out there. Coach Rice, we appreciate you and thank you. Let's take a break, guys. Coming back with more. You're watching the ONG Strike Zone. We'll be back in just a moment.
Let's face it, shopping for insurance can be time-consuming. That's why when it comes to your auto, home, and life insurance needs, make things simple and trust the experts at Allstate. They will help you get the coverage that fits your needs while helping you bundle your life, home, and auto policies. Bundling saves you money, sure, but it also saves you time, so you can enjoy the things that matter most even more. Contact me, Tammy Haynes, your local agent, for a free personalized insurance quote. Allstate, are you in good hands?
Let's get back to strolling instead of scrolling. Before we can safely come together, we need the facts on COVID-19 vaccines. Visit getvaccineanswers.org so you can make an informed decision for yourself and for your fam.
This is the Dean of the College of HBCU Sports, Kenyatta Cavill of Dr. Cavill's Inside the HBCU Sports Lab with Mike Washington and Charles Bishop. Come mix it up in the lab where the course lecture is in session every Tuesday from 6 o'clock p.m. Central Standard Time on Facebook Live, YouTube Spreaker, or the BCSN app, as we discuss all things about the HBCU sports culture, including exploring the week that was in the sporting HBCU diaspora, as well as the upcoming week of HBCU sports. With me, the Dean, the College of HBCU Sports, on Dr. Cavill's Inside the HBCU Sports Lab with Mike Washington and Charles Bishop. Course lecture dismissed.
Time to call a credit repair company to fix my credit. Hold the phone, man. You can do it yourself with Credit Versio. That's way too hard. Call the credit repair company. Most credit repair companies only work on 1 or 2 accounts at a time, making it slow and expensive. You won't figure that out for months. Ignore him. Credit Versio's brilliant software scans all 3 credit bureaus, finds the accounts that are hurting your score, and guides you through the entire process. Anyone can do it. Let's fast forward and see the results. Wow, I fixed my own credit and saved hundreds. You can do this. Visit creditversio.com.
Welcome back to the ONG Strike Zone. Brian, Kelvin, Kofi. It never seems like there's enough time when we do this show, fellas. Again, appreciate Coach Gokhan for coming on. Appreciate Coach Rice, Anthony Phipps for coming on in the last segment. You know, there's a lot, so much going on this time of the year. Again, I feel like I have to again emphasize our call to action, because I really was thinking this, and I put this in the chat. We talked about writing and finding those trustees' names, and we have to personalize our letters. And I've been thinking about what my letter is going to be as I send it to each of them individually, and I want them to see who it comes from. And I'm just one person, but I'm hoping that each of you who are watching us, and you'll see sometimes, like, I see the university continually telling us, hey, so and so gave this much amount of money. Hey, that's great. When are we ever going to see a post about such and such gave this amount of money to athletics? So and so. I mean, I'm just, I continue. I understand it's more, but there are more things happening than athletics, but athletics is a part of the university. It is not a separate entity. It is just as important as nursing, the law school, the engineering, the business school, the communications and journalism school, health and allied sciences. It is just as important as all of those other entities, but it continues to be relegated to the back seat. But in 24 days, we will all be, whether it be in Chapel Hill, North Carolina, or we will be watching in our homes and celebrating, putting on proudly our orange and green, and bragging to whoever will listen about how great our football program is. But at the same time that we're doing that, we're neglect, and we will allow the people who could make the biggest influences and decision makers, we will allow them to continue to put on their robe, their orange and green robe, and brag about family and how great we are and how we brag different. But we don't invest different. We don't invest different in our athletic department. So, I don't know. Sometimes it can be a little heartbreaking, guys, and I know it is what it is. And I think when I used to be less invested, I I maybe didn't care as much. But as I have been more invested, it hurts more, and I get agitated more. I go to work frustrated, and I'm starting Twitter fights and stuff like that. But anyway, let's move on. But anyway, I'm just going to call to action, as Kofi has told you. We need to write the letters. We need to personalize our stories from our perspective. And maybe, if we do enough of it, one board, maybe 2 trustee members, who knows, maybe a third, maybe 3 trustee members will step up and continue and push the fight and let people know that what is happening is unacceptable. We have lost a softball coach, a golf coach, Who else have we lost? We lost a
Men's
track
track.
coach. Yes. Men's track, women's track too. I mean, so that's
Assistant
there half
football
the
coach.
Equipment
half the
manager,
spring
client
sports.
director. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, what are we? Where are we going? How are we filling these positions? Who's making the hires to fill these positions? And if we're not careful, I ain't even gonna say it, man. But anyway, we got some problems
Championship. By
that
the
need
way,
to be.
by the way, Brian, we talking championship coaches, right? Coach
Yes,
Gokhan is
yes,
a championship coach, and he's still here.
yes.
But he talked about
Still
resources.
here.
Coach Rice, a championship coach. And again, he mentioned resources. You've heard us talk
Resources.
about the 8.5 million budget, and we talk about how many ADs we've had, and so forth. People is bigger than the AD. Doesn't matter who's sitting in the AD's chair. Until we have the vision at the top, at the executive level, then this is where we are. We will not retain great coaches. We will not consistently, as a program, be champions. We'll have peaks and valleys until we start to invest as champions.
Hey, like
All right.
Kofi said last week, was it anyway? All right, let's move forward.
What I
Football.
say?
I was going to talk about you. I think it was you who pointed out that we're playing with a D2 mentality, a D2 budget mentality, um, which is true. Which is true, and I've told people, anybody who listen to me, I believe there are presidents. And it's not just ours. I think there are presidents in HBCU athletics who don't view athletics the way more people in the general population view athletics. They view it more from the academic side, more from the Ivy League side, where they value their academics and say athletics is just extracurricular. We're not invested in trying to win championships. To say we always talk about winning championships, that's not what they're invested in. And we have presidents who are like that. Who knows? Ours may be one of them. I'm just saying. Um, but
He is.
anyway,
$1 billion
yeah,
business. College athletics is $1 billion business.
it is, and
So
you
they
either
can
have
say
to
what they want
decide.
to say.
Yeah, it is, and you know what? But the academic side is a business too. And so they playing the other side of it versus getting into, who knows? I don't know. But anyway, we got 24 days until we take on North Carolina in Chapel Hill. I'm curious, those of you who are in the chat rooms, are you guys making plans on traveling to Chapel Hill for this game, or are you just going to plan on sitting in and watching it on the ACC network? I'm curious what kind of crowd we will have traveling up to North Carolina. Maybe we got a good contingent of Rattlers in the Triangle region up there in North Carolina that will be making the trip. One of the spotlight units, guys, that I want to transition to, because we talked about wanting to make sure we talk about particular units, particular position groups, is our offensive line group. And good points. We had our good Marcus Green put together some information for us, just to kind of shell out some names, to let people know what we're dealing with here in terms of this offensive line group. 7 departures from last year's group. Some of the names start with Keenan Forbes, who signed with the Seattle Seahawks. Also, Jay Jackson Williams and Jalen Spady, 2 guys who are in part of the XFL draft pool. Also, Michael Arnold, Jalen Brayboy, Orlando Heggs II, guys who have departed. Delonius Kabir left via the transfer portal. We have 8 returners coming back on this offensive line group. Some of the names start with Cameron Coven, who I believe was preseason or second team SWAC.
17.
Uh,
Yeah.
yeah. Also, Brian Crawford, Kamari Thomas, TJ Lee, Kendarius Cunningham, Charles Davis, Ricky Taylor, Chad Brooks. Those are just some of the returnees. And then we get into talking about some of the newcomers. And I think that's interesting from the standpoint of who these newcomers are. You definitely can start with guys like Jalen Goss, who came over from Florida State, Christopher Williams, who also came from Florida State. He went to Rickards. Cesar Reyes, who came over from South Florida. Um, those are just some of the transfer names, along with a couple other smaller school transfer guys. Darion Whedon, who went to Cisco College. I believe that's a junior college. Morgan
Yeah.
Moore came from Texas State. And then we had a couple of the freshmen, such as TJ Demas, who came over from from Clearwater Central Catholic, and Myron Ward, who went to Rickards. Tommy Bridgewater also came over from First Coast. So as you think about, Kelvin or Kofi, as you think about this offensive line group, what's our ceiling? What's the expectation? What are we hoping for from this offensive line group?
A consistent running game, which will open up really the passing game, and minimal sacks. But I personally want to see these guys really be aggressive and really come off the ball. That helps us with time of possession and puts us in control of the ball game. I don't care. I know we love to see a ton of points through the air, but there is really no defense for a team that can consistently run the football. And I think if we look back even last year with the games that we had, including Jackson State and the University of South Florida, that had we run the ball a little more or even a lot more, we would have seen even, I want to say, even the playoff game. I think that, we got out of balance. Those times that we got out of balance with our play calling were times that we put ourselves at a deficit and put ourselves in a losing position as opposed to maintaining control of the game. But I think the ceiling is multiple people on the first team offensive line. I think with a good offensive line that's going to improve, you're going to see improved QB play. So we'll probably have a first team QB as well as a first team running back or two. All of that is the fruit of what a good offensive line brings to the table.
Go ahead, Kelvin. What do you got?
So I like the length of our transfers. We're gonna need them to pan out to come. They've been on at the D1 level under a program for a year, 2 years, and so we need those transfers to come in and pan out. They look to be more athletic and long. Most of them are 6'4" or taller, but they all still around that 300-pound range, and so we're gonna need them to probably man both tackles position. A lot of our returning players have experience like Crawford and TJ Lee and so forth in the interior part of the offensive line. But we're gonna need those guys, to protect the quarterback and hopefully because they're more athletic, they will be better than last year's team. I think the upside, the ceiling is high. But I don't know what to expect until they got to come together and get into chemistry. And I know they learn in the family, the way and everything. And so that's going to take time. Luckily, we have a seasoned quarterback, seasoned running back, seasoned receivers. So we have really strong leadership there on the team. I got my fingers crossed because if they pan out, if that too deep pans out on the offensive line, you can kiss them good night, Lucy. We're gonna be better than what the experts think.
I'll never forget the recent quote from a head coach in the SWAC when discussing playing SEC opponents. the difference being in the trenches. And so when I look at what this offensive line unit, we have a coach in Joe Henry, who's also the OC, who has SEC ties. And his last 3 stops, of course, LSU, Arkansas, Missouri. The LSU team from a year ago averaged 114 rushing yards per game, but the 2 previous years, those offensive line units moved weight. 151 yards at Arkansas, 151 yards at Missouri. That's per game. So I'm very optimistic and hopeful that Coach Henry's style and his experience in the SEC proves to be beneficial for us. That's something that'll be interesting to kind of see. Because again, as you just said, I mean, we have veterans at so many spots, and we have now. Will we play with an SEC mindset? And I hate having to do the whole SEC comparison thing, but it's a mindset. Will we
Be
have that
physical.
mindset?
Will
Be
be physical.
physical. Yeah.
That's just
That'll
playing
be.
football. I mean, that's just straight up football. You don't have to say SEC, but it's just a matter. I get what you're saying, but yeah, let's be physical.
Yeah. Well, that's what hopefully we can get. I mean, I know we want to use our speed and get the ball out of our hands quickly, but at the same time, it'll be interesting to see how how Coach Henry puts it all together this upcoming season. So that's a quick look at the offensive line for this upcoming year. That's where it starts. So I think we all agree that's where it starts. Next week, as we get a little bit closer, we'll take a look at another unit. I don't know. Maybe we look at defensive line, safeties, running backs. I don't know. You guys, we'll talk about it over the course. If you guys have some thoughts on who you'd like for us to kind of spotlight, send us an email, ongstrikezone@gmail.com. You can also reach us on our Twitter handles as well, or you can hit us on the ONG Strike Zone on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. Let us know who would you like to see us kind of spotlight and talk about. And again, shout out to Marcus Green for helping to put all that information together for us. Before we wrap up, I want to make mention of a couple of more things from our football side of things. All-American teams from Stats Perform FCS came out. Isaiah Land, of course, was on first team defense. Xavier Smith, third team offense as a wide receiver. And Jamarie Shareed, first team special teams as a punt returner, which, look, the folks in the SWAC didn't think he was first team. I don't even know if he made second team on the SWAC, to be honest. But hey, he made it as a punt returner on the All-American list for Stats Perform, which was pretty good, if I must say. And then also this came out today. I don't know if you guys had saw this. Xavier Smith made the Walter Payton Award watch list, which 35 offensive players. So essentially that award goes to the top offensive player in FCS football. And so 35 players were on that watch list. And I believe there were only maybe 5 HBCU guys in general. I think I saw Shador Sanders on there. I saw Fatai Ibrahim from Alabama A&M on the list. Everett Amari, I think its name is it Kamari Everett from Bethune, the tight end?
Yeah.
Kamari Everett. Yeah, he was on the list. I don't know anybody that I can't think anybody else really that made that list from an HBCU. That might have been there. There was only really 4 or 5 names that made that list. Yeah.
Also, the Field Steel FCS preseason had 2 first team folks with again Jamarie and Isaiah being on that list too. Preseason All-Americans. Jamarie as a returning person. Yeah.
So that's big, huge. And again, I don't know how the SWAC voters missed him, but okay. But anyway, just pointing that out. The one other piece, again, the football team, I guess they resume back into hitting pads, contacts tomorrow. They were doing film work and stuff like that today. Um, so they pick back up with the pads. Shout out to FAMU Athletics for providing some great coverage,
Good
man.
job. Good content.
Gerald,
Yeah.
yeah, man, great content. Gerald Thomas of the Democrat, Allison Posey, ABC 27, man. I anytime you see us, if you're following us on Twitter, we'll retweet all of that stuff, man. Great video packages, uh, great interview sessions we've seen with Coach Simmons, the players. That's really huge. So it's good to be able to kind of follow the progression and see what's happening in camp. So thanks to all of the media folks who were out there covering FAMU football. Let's keep that going. I think the NFL scouts are already starting to pop up. I think you saw the Falcons were in the house the other day, so that's huge. That's huge. Um, as we get ready to wrap up the show, we got to kind of end it on a somber note as we close the show, as we have another fallen rattler within the athletics community, and that is the voice of Rattler Sports Network, and former Rattlers football coach Michael Thomas, who's also a member of the FAMU Sports Hall of Fame class of 2022, passed away this past week, this past Monday, from A.D. Smith. Mike was a mentor to the guys he had an opportunity to coach while he was here. I received quite a few messages from friends and former players expressing their condolences. Most importantly, FAMU is a better place because of Mike Thomas, who took time out with some of us guys that would not have had someone look out for us as he did. Michael Thomas was a native of Tallahassee, spent 30 plus years as a color analyst on the Rattler Sports Network. He was there, of course, with Keith Miles. Many of us remember him, of course, with Keith Miles. Then later on, he was there with
Albert Chester.
With Albert
And
Chester.
Josh.
Don't want to forget Josh. Josh
Yeah.
was also Joshua Jackson. He also worked with Joshua Jackson. I think Josh was there for like 4 seasons. So he for all those years, Mike he's been the voice. He's been there everywhere from a color analyst. In these past couple years, he was actually doing the play-by-play. He also was hosting the coaches shows last year, this past season with FAMU. And so this is something I did not realize, which it comes out through the bio information. He served as a grad assistant before being elevated to an assistant coach under Coach Rudy Hubbard. Thomas was a part of the 78 national championship team as a grad assistant. Then he was on the staff when they turned around the following year and defeated Miami. Quote from Hall of Fame coach Rudy Hubbard, said, quote, "I'm sorry he's gone because he was such a brilliant guy. Costa Kittles was my offensive coordinator. And then when he left, Mike became my coordinator for a little while. He was so sharp that he just passed everyone up. He was quick and diagnosed things quickly and very well." Albert Chester had already given me confirmation that he will come on the show next Wednesday, and we'll get a chance to talk to Mr. Chester about Mike and maybe, find out, just things that we don't know. I mean, a lot of times when we have these legends who have been of Rattler athletics, we don't always know the history because we don't have enough storytellers telling the history.
Hey,
right?
Brian. I just want to say before Mel cut your mic
Uh-oh.
that that I want to say about Mike. He coached at FAMU High when I was there too. What, 87, 86, 87. And he was a FAMU High grad also. But so I played under him as a high school athlete, and I coached with him at FAMU High also, late 80s, early 90s. So, you know, he's been around forever. He's been around FAMU forever, and always been the same person, no matter, you know, from you know, he was a friend to everybody. You know, not a mean spirit. I don't know if I ever saw Mike angry, ever. I can't recall him raising his voice, and we weren't easy to coach.
I bet.
But yeah, he's going to be missed, man, and yeah, I'm glad that he, you know, we gave him his flowers. He knew he was appreciated, and you know, he got nominated prior to him. I wish he could have made it, you know, to be able to accept his award in person, but he knows how Rattler Nation feel about him, and so that brings me comfort.
Any words you want to share, Kofi?
Everything that needs to be said has already been said. He is such a good-spirited man. Even going through what he was going through, you wouldn't have known it. Other than, you know, just obviously his physical appearance having changed, but he's such a good guy and was all FAMU all the time. He's, you know, just one of the, I want to say, pillars of the Rattler Sports Network, one of the first that made that transition from Chico Renfro to Keith Miles. He was a major part of that. And so hearing his voice over the radio was just, you know, just something that we did on Saturday afternoons or Saturday evenings if we couldn't attend the game. So he's definitely legendary. He will be missed. You know, anybody that does the things that he did, the way that he did it, with the high degree of excellence that he did it at, deserves accolades. And I'm definitely miss him.
Yeah, we'll miss hearing his voice again. Albert Chester will be joining us next week. If you have any thoughts that you'd like to share, please send us an email, ongstrikezone@gmail.com. We'll read them next week's show when we have Mr. Chester on, and we'll definitely continue to go into this season without one of the staples of the Rattler Sports Network and one of the voices. And so, as my good friend Tony Mathers says in the chat room, orange helmets down, and we salute the fallen Rattler, and we say thank you, our condolences and prayers to his family and the friends, and we'll have more to share with you next Wednesday. So that's going to be it for tonight's show, and a lot of hot button topics. Make sure you're following us on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram at ONG Strike Zone. Go follow our personal pages as well, which you can find on Twitter via the ONG Strike Zone, and you know, be looking out for the Pod Zone, BCSN Pod Zone, everywhere you download podcasts. Share, like, and subscribe. Let somebody know about the show, and we'll look forward to doing it again next Wednesday. Thanks for your time. Be well, be safe. Say a prayer for the Thomas family, and don't forget to strike, and strike again. Peace and love, Rattler Nation.